How's it? Welcome to Lessons from the Best, episode 6. These are tips from my book that I wrote. It's a collection of holistic insights, tips, and tricks to help you improve your golf. And it's essentially 18 chapters, some of the best chapters, best podcasts from my On the Mark podcast. Some really cool guests included in this book. You've seen the first few episodes. We had Bryson DeChambeau. We've had Mike Adams, legendary golf teacher. And in episode 6, I went with Viktor Hovland. He was on my show, and I love me some Viktor. I know you do too. He's so easy with a smile. He's such a wonderful talent. In fact, in our podcast, it's in this chapter. And the chapter in the book is chapter 10. The chapter's name is I Smile When I'm Doing It. And he talked about that sort of thing. But the quote that I chose to go with for your golf tip here was about kind of understanding your game. And Victor spoke of how when he was young and he came out, sometimes if he glanced at a leaderboard, he would overreact and maybe feel like, okay, I'm a few back, I need to make some birdies. Then he'd force the issue, and in the end, sometimes cost himself the win because he made a mistake really that wasn't on. And so this excerpt here, this quote, is like the ultimate in course management if you apply this, if you have the discipline to apply this. So here's the quote, and this is Victor. It was more like, okay, my game is good enough. I just have to use the right strategy, trust myself, and I'm going to get a spurt. We're okay these 9 holes. I'm not going to hit it very good, and I just need my short game to get me around and make a couple of nice up and downs. Keep myself thinking, okay, I shot even on this front 9, and I know that if I get hot, I can really tear this place up. When things aren't going your way, pay attention now, or if you're lipping out putts from 20 feet and you're hitting good shots, but not quite the right distances all the time, I think it's important to tell yourself, I'm doing okay. And you know the next day or the next 9 I might play, I might get on a hot streak. And that's just what I did at Eastlake and at Olympia Fields. Now, those 2 venues he spoke of, Viktor Hovland that is, was in the Tour Championship in 2023 and in the BMW Championship the week prior, where at Olympia Fields, he was cruising along and all of a sudden went on a crazy streak. I think shot like 29 on his final 9 holes and won the event. And then he kicked that on. So here's the key. He realized that, okay, my game is good enough. I don't have to do anything different. I don't have to force the issue. I've got to be patient and bide my time. Here it goes again. When things aren't going your way, and this is Victor's quote, when things aren't going away, you're lipping out putts from 20 feet, or you're hitting good shots, but not quite the right distance all the time, you must tell yourself, I'm doing okay. The next 9 I might play, I'll do better. The next day I might get on a hot streak, and that sort of stuff happens. And I think that's wonderful advice there from Hovland as you approach your game, because you know what it's like. Sometimes you get off to that rough start and you feel like you've got to get it all back, all in one go. Where the reality is, you've just got to stem the tide and sort of get a little organization, stabilize that round. When things are going wrong, you shouldn't be overly aggressive. It reminds me of a quote I heard from the great Bob Rotella. He's also in this book. I've done a chapter on him. And Rotella told me that he spoke with Raymond Floyd one time, many times, but this one time, Ray Floyd, who is a Hall of Famer, multiple major champion, spoke of his son, who was a good player, but sometimes his son attacked and defended at the wrong time. And the anecdote went to the effect of, here's my son, he comes out, he's 2 over after 3. So apparently not playing very well. But then he starts picking very aggressive targets in an effort to get that back, where the reality is, because he's not playing well, he should be a bit more defensive. Like Victor says, put the iron in there to the safe place, take your 2-putt, make your par, go along. and then you play your way into the round. Conversely, Raymond's son was like, he's 2 under through 3, so he's playing well, but now he gets defensive because he doesn't want to ruin the score. So you see, it's sort of that, and Viktor talks about it in the chapter, that awareness of who you are and where you are. Who you are as a golfer, my game is solid at this point in time. So that means if I just do my thing, it's going to probably work out. All I must do is not make the rash decision that costs me and kind of ruins my score and then puts me behind the 8 ball. How many times have you been there where you make some silly decisions, you make some soft bogeys and doubles or whatever, and all of a sudden you're a few over. And then you'll play your booty off to get it back to even or whatever it is. And then you're like, oh goodness, if only I'd played those other holes well. Well, it's not playing the other holes well, it's playing them appropriately. Because there's a cycle in golf. And that cycle goes good golf, indifferent golf, bad golf, indifferent golf, good golf. And it basically goes like this all the time. Even if you're playing well, you're going to hit some bad shots. That's where golf becomes a game of recovery. When you're not striking it as flush, you don't go after those silly flags and short-side yourself and put unnecessary mistakes on your scorecard. Like Viktor says, if it's not right there or you're lipping out putts, just keep pedaling. Keep putting the ball in the right place. Keep hanging around, waiting for that spurt, to use Viktor's term. It'll come. And when the spurt comes, then you won't be in the place where you're playing your buns off just to get back to even. Or you're playing your buns off, if you're a bogey golfer, to get back to bogey golf. It'll be the place where, like, okay, I've been hanging around, I've been making some saves, I'm making some smart plays. Now when I get that kick, now I can accelerate and go further under par. Or I can accelerate and go a little lower than what I normally shoot. So it's this canny awareness of who you are and where your game is. You don't have to flush it all the time. In fact, as I point out, there's the cycle. Good golf, indifferent golf, bad golf, indifferent golf, good golf. It's always doing this. It might be in one round, it might be over a couple days, but you're going to have to survive that rough patch once in a while if you want to be consistently good at scoring. So take Viktor's advice here. You don't have to get overly aggressive if you're behind or if you're off the lead. They may come back to you. You don't know the future. You don't have to be overly defensive if you're playing poorly. You know, you can have a go or two. You might make a mistake, but don't make the short-sighted mistake. So there it is from Viktor Hovland, one of the very insightful chapters in this book, Lessons from the Best. You can get it at back9press.com/Immelman. Golf is about management of self and of the golf course. Certain targets get left alone. Certain targets are green lights. That's up to you, but you've got to have that real assessment of exactly where your game is at the time. If it's not completely there, make the smart decision. Live to fight another hole. Don't ruin it all just because you tried to force the issue.